I felt like a very, very heavy gush of discharge. And then I find my baby's umbilical cord right there in the toilet when I went to pee. And this boy did not move, guys. He didn't move. My baby was not moving. And from there, it just became like an action movie. I have never been so excited to feel pain before. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be packed. Like, it was such a crazy experience. 1 minute I was in the hospital, complained about having regular discharge. The next minute admitted in the hospital for a few days. The next minute I'm discharged from the hospital, and then I find my baby's umbilical cord right there in the toilet when I went to pee. And from there, it just became like an action movie. I'm just so grateful to God that today's story is a totally different story. It could have turned out another way, but I'm so grateful for how everything turned out. Like, all the praises definitely would be returned to God, because trust me, I think the devil had like a plan, but God said, nope, not this one, not my daughter, not my child, no. So it was definitely an experience. From when I found his umbilical cord hanging out of my VJJ, you guys know what I'm talking about, right there in the toilet when I went to pee. From there onwards, it was just a run, like straight driving. I didn't even want to call 911. It was straight from driving, to the hospital. So let's get into the entire story. Stay with me so you can hear everything. And if you're pregnant, I want to tell you right now, before we get into the video, that this is my second baby. I have a 2-year-old, and I had a when I say perfectly good pregnancy with him, I mean it was perfect. No symptoms. I had a really good ride with him. I carried him to term. Do not be afraid if you're pregnant. Trust me, it's going to turn out the best. And the best might not always be full term. That's the reality. And if you're a mom, if you're someone that's looking to have a baby in the future, I hope you're able to learn from my experience. And I just want you guys to join me in testifying to God. Let's get into it without further ado. So let's rewind. Let's go back to how it all started. So I had my baby shower. I think that was the last day of March or the first day in April, one of that. Just for, the full story, my due date was meant to be June 30th. Sometime in April, like right from after my baby shower, I started having like discharge, increased discharge. I wouldn't really call it increase. It was just discharge. But because I didn't have that with my first, it was new to me. So that was a new symptom. And it all started like normal discharge, yellow, you will clean up and see so much discharge. And I just thought it was normal until like, I think 2 to 3 weeks later, it increased. Like, I started seeing more and more. I had to start wearing a panty liner. And then at some point, it was going through my panty liner, and I was planning to start wearing a pad. But that didn't happen before I decided to go to the hospital. So I had a very crazy weekend. The weekend I eventually went to the hospital, that was in April. In April, I think that was April 19th or 20th, around that time. I just finished cooking. I had prepped a lot of food. It seems like the spirit really works with us, because trust me, I just felt like cooking. I cooked a lot that day. But I noticed when I was cooking that I felt like a very, very heavy gush of discharge, very abnormal from what I've been feeling. I went to the bathroom and my pants were soaked. They were soaked. So I cleaned up, did everything, changed, and went back to continue cooking. It wasn't 10 minutes later, I felt the same discharge again. And to let you know, the discharge was actually yellow and it had like mucus. So I didn't think, all I had in my head was water breaking is like pure water, like actual white. And with my first, my waters didn't break naturally. They were actually broken during my induction. So I didn't know what water breaking was and what it felt like. So I went to the hospital. As soon as I finished cooking, I told my husband, I have to go get this checked. So I took an Uber, I went to the hospital. And when I got there, they tested the fluid. The doctor came, tested the fluid, and they had one inconclusive test and one positive test. And based off of that, they couldn't just go on to say your water is broken. They had to do ultrasounds and all of that. But that night, it was middle of the night. It was like 1 a.m. when I had gotten to the hospital. That was on a Sunday, I believe. The doctor had checked me for the progress of my uterus. And is it my uterus? Yeah. And she said I was 4 centimeters dilated. And guys, I was just 30 weeks pregnant. In fact, I was 29 weeks and 6 days at this time. I wasn't up to 30 weeks. 29 weeks and 6 days. It was the following Monday. That's the next day I was going to be 30 weeks. So it was abnormal for me to be dilated 4 centimeters already at that time. The doctor just said, you know, we need to keep you for more monitoring. So they actually admitted me and put me in a room. I was admitted, and then the next day I was booked in for an ultrasound. I went in for the ultrasound, and what they saw was good, actually. So the ultrasound came back. My uterus, it said my uterus was high and closed. It said the amniotic fluid around the baby was normal. There was nothing abnormal. The baby's fetal rate was good. The baby's growth was steady. There was no cause for concern. So my OB came to see me that Monday, because on Sunday when I went in, he wasn't there. That was very early. I think later that Sunday he came in, or on Monday, I can't remember which one. I did vlog it, I just can't remember. So when he came, he told me everything he had been told, and he said based off of the ultrasound, it looks like everything is good, but he's going to want to check me to see if the dilation part, like what it really looks like. So he did a check again, and he said, yes, you are actually 3 centimeters dilated and your membrane is swollen. So at this point, I told him that, okay, if I'm not going to go into labor now, I would like to go back home. You know, I probably will function better if I'm home. So he said they were going to keep me for 2 to 3 days just to watch the baby, and then after that they can let me go home if everything looks good. And I was like, sure, that sounds like a great plan. I was there for about 2 days. I think on the 3rd day was when, bear in mind, the midnight between the 2nd and the 3rd day, I went to pee overnight, and then as soon as I stood up, I felt like a gosh. But guys, it was still yellow and still had mucus. So to me, I'm like, okay, this could be an infection, because bear in mind as well, the urine test they took from me actually showed that I had BV. They started a round of antibiotics, and I was told that it was normal for it to even increase the discharge. So that was what I just coined it to that. Yeah, it's normal. Like the discharge increase is pretty normal. So when my doctor came on the 3rd day, my OB, he said everything looks good. The fetal test, they did it that same day. I think that's the non-stress test. The baby was fine. Everything was good. So he was like, I'm going to release you, but on the condition that you're on a strict bed rest when you get home. Like when I mean strict, I mean you cannot do anything, no heavy lifting, no walking down the stairs unnecessarily. You got to stay in your bed until this baby comes. So that was my that was what I was told I was gonna have to do. I had agreed to that. I was like, sure, that's not a problem. As long as I'm home in my own bed, I'm fine. So I had been released. I was released with some requisitions for me to go get some drugs that I needed to be taken while at home. Progesterone was one of them, just to slow down whatever labor was starting in my body. That was one of them. And then they had scheduled weekly visits. That's 2 times a week visits with the home nurse to come. That's the antenatal nurse to come to the house to come check on me and also check on the baby. So these were the conditions of release. And at that time, everything was ready. I had gotten my requisitions. I was going to pick up my drugs and then go home, which was what we did. We left the hospital. Let's say we left the hospital around like 2 p.m. Went to the pharmacy, got the drugs, and then we went home. So at that time, I was very hungry. I had been eating hospital food, so I was so ready to eat good food. So I actually had ofada rice and stew. If you're Nigerian, you know what that means. That was like the bomb. It was like really good, peppery, and it was really nice. And I ate it. And I slept because I was tired. I was pregnant. I was stressed. So I slept. But I noticed that when I was sleeping, because I sleep in my pregnancy pillow and I put like my pregnancy pillow in between my legs. So when I was sleeping, I could feel like my VJJ was like breathing, like in and out, in and out. And I'm like, why is my VJJ breathing now? This baby should let me sleep, because my baby throughout my pregnancy was camped on my bladder. I put it to you guys. He was camped on my bladder, and my bladder was like, I was always peeing. I even at some point I couldn't walk properly. I had something with my pelvis. So I just coined it to, this boy is just on me. I didn't think anything was wrong. So I woke up around like, let's say 6, 7 there, but I think 7 o'clock. And I was like, okay, let me go pee and then I can take my medication that I was given from the hospital. So I went to pee, and when I peed, I wiped. When I wiped, I felt something. I thought maybe it was my mucus plug that was finally coming out, because it was very thick. So I wiped again. It wasn't moving. And I'm like, okay. I used my hand to touch it, like, okay, what is that? And I'm like, nah, this does not feel like a mucus plug, but I still don't know what this is. I was freaked out of my mind. I was losing my mind. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I screamed for my husband to come. And then my husband came. When he came, I was like, something is sticking out of my VJJ. Can you please check it? And he checked it, and he's like, I see an organ. Guys, I'm laughing now. I wasn't laughing then. I was like, what do you mean you see an organ? What are you saying? He's like, I don't know, but I see an organ. I'm like, okay, fine. I gave him my phone. I said, take a picture of it and let me see. I went crazy when I saw the picture, guys. It was the umbilical cord of my baby. I told him, this is the baby's umbilical cord. I was just, in that moment, I think I was going a little crazy. I was panicking, but I was still calm. And then he's like, should we call 911? I'm like, nope, there is no time for 911. Let's pack up. Thank God we just got back from the hospital. We hadn't really unpacked. Let's pack up, get Harvey ready. Let's head back to the hospital where we came from. So we packed up Harvey, we rushed, got in the car, and I sat, like I wasn't sitting fully on the seat. At that time, I didn't know the best thing to do was to go on your fours. So you're not putting pressure on the baby. I didn't know it was called the cord prolapse until after the fact. That's when I learned about it. So if it happens to you, make sure you just go on your fours. If you go on your fours, call 911, be calm, or you can go on your fours in the car and then get to the hospital. I don't know about going in the car because that's not the safest. Ambulances are probably better, but if you're really, really crunched for time, there's no ambulance. Do what you think. But anyways, we got in the car, I didn't sit like with my butt like on the seat because I knew that would compress the umbilical cord. So I just tilted to one side and I held the seat and I said, let's go. The ride to the hospital was 20 minutes and my baby is a very active baby. Like right from the womb, he was so active. I don't think this guy ever slept, or he probably slept and he was just a very noisy sleeper. He never was quiet. So we were going to the hospital and I'm like, hey, Nathaniel, it's time for you to give me that kick. And this boy did not move, guys. He didn't move. My baby was not moving. The ride was 20 minutes. I started pushing my tummy, tugging at my tummy as we were going. I started screaming, wake up, Nathaniel. Talk to me, Nathaniel. Nothing was happening. And then I just instantly started praying. I held my tummy, guys. I am not a prayer warrior by any means. But this experience, my husband was like, calm down. He's just resting. I said, no, he didn't rest for 29 weeks. I've been pregnant with him. It can't be in the 30th week he's going to rest. Wake up. I started moving my tummy. I started praying, pleading the blood of Jesus on my baby. I said, my situation is not to cry over a fetus. I would never cry over a fetus. I started speaking to my tummy to when we got to the hospital. After 15 minutes, I felt a kick. Oh my goodness. I have never been so excited to feel pain before. He tugged so hard and I was so happy about it. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. So after the first kick, he just kept kicking. And then we got to the hospital. In hindsight, I should have gone to the emergency. But I told my husband, drop me right in front of, where we, the familiar place to me, so I can head back into L&D. I wasn't even thinking about, go to the emergency, let them wheel you in. I'm like, no, there's no time to explain. How do you explain this? So my husband dropped me at the entrance. I said, drop me, you guys should go park. Let me just go upstairs. So he dropped me and I started walking in. And that was the moment where I broke down. I was walking into the hospital and I was actually very, very emotional. I was so fragile. And the moment somebody, because I was literally walking, you could tell that there was a problem. There was something sticking out. I wasn't walking comfortably. So one lady saw me right there, close to the elevator, and she's like, are you okay? And that was when I lost it. I just started crying. I couldn't explain myself to her. I just told her, it's fine, I can find my way. And then I got in the elevator, I got to the L&D. When I got there, I told the nurse, I said, I think there's something sticking out of my vagina. And she's like, okay, just hold on, wait for the other nurse, she'll process you. And I was like, okay. I stood aside. And then I think it clicked in her head. She came back and she's like, sorry, do you mean you might be in labor? And I was like, yes, I think I might be in labor, but I don't know. I just have an organ sticking out of my vagina. And then instantly she called on a nurse. They took me to a private room, and right there they called the resident doctor. You know how it works over here. Before you know it, I had how many people in my room. And then when the nurse came, she said, please take off your pants and go on the bed, go on your fours. I went on my fours. The resident doctor came in and then she was introduced. I'm like, I know you from earlier today. I was here before. She got on her fours, guys. When she got on her fours, and before this, they already strapped the baby monitors to me to check if the baby is beating, baby's heart is beating. And to God be the glory, the baby's heart was still in the 140s, I think almost 150. So it wasn't a cause for alarm at that point, but it was also a cause for alarm. The doctor got on the bed with me on her fours as well, and she took the umbilical cord that was sticking out, put her hand inside and stuck it in. The most painful thing. I don't even think labor is as painful as what I felt that day. And when she did that, she instantly started telling me, right now, I'm holding the umbilical cord inside, but your baby is pushing on it because he wants to come out and you're not fully dilated. And because this is an emergency, if we don't operate on you and get this baby out, it might become bad. So instantly she said, we're gonna have to do a cesarean section on you right now, and we don't even have time to give you an epidural or a spinal block or whatever it is. We're going to have to knock you out, general anesthesia. And I was like, where is my husband? Don't do anything without my husband. And she's like, sure, don't worry. We're going to inform your husband. You're going to be well taken care of. And instantly, guys, before I could say Jack Robinson, they already started wheeling me. It felt like a scene out of Grey's Anatomy, The Resident, whatever. Like literally those bins, like garbage bins were like falling apart. Like people were running away from the road. Like that was how much of an emergency it was. Never in my life did I think I would go through a surgery. I put it to you. But I got wheeled out and then wheeled into the OR. And when we got to the OR, there was already like another team, maybe the team of surgeons waiting there in the OR. And then power changed hands. The doctor was holding that thing and then she took her hand out. Another person put her hand in. This was even worse. Like the pressure was crazy. And while this was happening, they were changing me into a gown. And then the doctor, I don't know if it was a surgeon or whoever, maybe it was the anesthesiologist, was telling me, we're about to knock you out. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. Your baby's going to be fine. We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of your baby. And instantly he said, start inhaling and exhaling. They started putting the gas on me and I was just disoriented. I was screaming from the pain in my vagina, from the pain. Everything was just, I was just crazy. And that was the last of it, I remember. That was the last of the pain in that moment, of course. And from there onwards, it was literally, I guess it was smooth because of course I woke up hale and hearty. Nothing happened to me. And my son, okay, so when I woke up, guys, this was historical. When I woke up, you know how they give you like, I think the anesthesia they give you sort of makes you high. So I think I was a little high. I have like vague remembrance of me, making jokes with the doctors. I'm like, okay, so you done? You guys are so sweet. You guys are so nice. You had my baby. My baby is out. I was just being hysterical and just making jokes. And then of course I was put in recovery and I woke up. When I woke up, I was still a little drowsy and I did a very funny video. I will post that video because that video is so precious to me because it was literally me telling you guys the story from a very raw angle. It was fresh in my head. I probably covered some details I missed here in that video. I'll be putting everything. I'm going to be putting a playlist on my experience, like everything, like my vlog, like how I vlogged the situation. So that was it. I was just in the morning when I asked of my baby and I was told he was in the NICU. The first thing I asked his dad was, did he cry? Did you hear him cry when he came out? I believe that was so important to me because him crying means he wasn't starved of oxygen through the whole trauma, through the whole situation. And when my husband confirmed that, yes, he did indeed cry when he came out, even though he wasn't led into the operating room, he was in a viewing room where he could see the whole situation. So that was very good that he was able to see what was happening with me. So when I eventually got my strength, the first thing they asked me to do was they asked if I was able to get in the wheelchair to go see my child in the NICU, my baby, because he was in the NICU. I gave birth at 30 weeks one day. So of course he needed some NICU time because he was a preemie. I was able to get up the bed and I think I was still a little numb, but I could still feel the pains from the CS and all of that. So I got into the wheelchair and he was so little. He looked so little and I couldn't really see him because I was in the wheelchair and I couldn't stand up. I was still very weak. So I could only just glance at him and my husband took a picture with his phone as well and showed me. It was emotional all in all. Hey guys. So I just saw the doctor literally. I remember years ago, something missing. This is breakfast. I already almost started doing the jam, this bread. I think this is coffee. Then there's like, I don't know, cranberry cocktail. I've never had that. Then milk and some cereal. So I have what I can. And of course I have my bottle of water here. We'll see. So this is lunch. This is lunch. Has some bread. This bread has like some tuna or something inside. It's like a sandwich. And then I don't know what's here. Hey guys. So I come with update. So the time now is currently 7:26. So I've been here since about, I think, 1:30 a.m. 2 a.m. thereabouts. Say hello. Hello camera. It's not your camera now, it's Mama's camera. Did you miss Mama? Look at that man. See your belly. See. Yeah. see. Now me carry belly. Now person where they me carry the remaining baby with this. Harvey. He came to visit me. They brought my things. Harvey, you don't like hospitals, right? Maybe you still remember. You remember NICU. Harvey, don't worry. You're not going back to NICU. You don't have to be afraid of the hospital. Okay? I forgot to film my breakfast. It was at the end. I remember that. Oh my god, I was showing you guys what's going on. Anyway, here's my breakfast. I had 3 of the waffle sticks. Had some scrambled eggs. Okay, it's lunch time. Let's see what we have. I have some tea bags here for the hot water. Some crackers. What's this? Okay, this looks like some sort of soup. Yeah, mushroom soup. Look at who came to visit me. Yomi, my bone partner. Look at her bone, very big. Look who has been discharged. I've been discharged. My driver is here to pick me up. So like I said, it's time to pack. And these were the things that they gave me like in the hospital, like the pads, the underwears, disposable ones. Hey guys. Update. So today is what? Today is April what? 20. Babe, today is what? April 23rd. Okay, so you guys know I was discharged April 22nd in the afternoon. And truthfully, I was gonna do my bed rest. I went home.
So I don't know if you know this, but you have a drain, okay? So you have a little drain on the side of your incision because there was lots of bleeding. So they put this in just to drain it rather than pulling in your tummy. They're gonna leave this for 1 whole day.
Sorry.
I'll use that. You switch it forward along. Okay. Put your feet in here.
Is it leaking down?
Something like you down?
Not really.
Off the back? Oh, this?
No.
You're feeling this?
The blood? Is it blood?
I see a little bit. I see what you mean. You planning on going for lipo? This is what we're planning already? Oh my god.
I think I heard when they do CS, they fix some things in there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fixed already. Because I had like the diastasis.
Oh, yeah. I know
The
fix
first
that.
baby.
Yeah.
I am.
Cross, I'm just gonna roll in here.
Oh, sure.
That's okay. We'll try and get super close. Okay.
But it's so tiny.
Try and get you
That's a
closer.
good size for a 30-weeker. 1.7. Yeah.
Oh.
Sure. I'll roll it up. You wired it down here.
It's so tiny. I feel like I was robbed of the normal labor and delivery story, like birth story that everyone says. I literally had a plan to vlog my entire experience, and I indeed vlogged my experience. It just reminded me of the fact that sometimes you plan, but God already had a plan for you. At the end of the day, we achieved the same thing. It was me carrying my baby home. Be it after weeks, it was still me taking my baby home healthy. That was the end goal, and I thank God for the fact that that situation could have turned out to be a stillbirth. It could have turned out to be a baby that had lots of mental disorders, like being starved of oxygen. It could have been a lot of things that could have happened, but God extended His grace and His mercies upon me and upon my family, of course. And I'm very, very sympathetic, and I really stand with every NICU mom out there, everyone that has had to go through this experience in one way or the other. I understand. I sympathize with you, because it's not an easy situation, whether your baby stays in the NICU for 1 day, or your baby stays in NICU for 100 days or 200 days, it is not an easy experience. And no matter what situation it is, it could be worse. That's all I learned. So I'm really, really grateful for how everything played out. And if you're in this situation right now, just know that it is very temporary. My baby is very big now, very chunky. He's doing amazingly well. And of course, I'll be sharing his NICU story in the next video. I'm going to be telling you guys how the NICU experience went for me, because of course he had a long run in the NICU, but not so long. So thank you so much for watching this video with me, and I'm just grateful to God, and I pray that your story also comes out as a testimony regardless of how it comes out. Okay, there is no one way to give birth. There is no one way to labor. Healthy mother, healthy child, that's the goal. So stick with that and just keep listening to your body. If your body is telling you something, go to the hospital. That's one thing I learned. So I hope you learned that with me, and I'll see you guys right there in my next video. Feel free to leave any questions you might have in the comment section. I will do a video just for you. All right, bye guys.